He was born May 25th, 1995, and everything was fine. I mean, he was 5 weeks early, and Mom was concerned because she'd lost her first baby, who was born 5 weeks early, and so she was concerned about him. After he was born, I mean, everything looked normal. His the APGAR scores were great, and the doctor thought everything was fine, but Mom knew something was different. You know, she sensed it, and from the start, but everything was fine, and because he was early, they kept him in the hospital. And about a day or so later, in the special care nursery, his arms and legs turned blue. And after that, they kind of started looking at him in a different way. And long story short, I mean, he was diagnosed with Down syndrome. He had a heart defect called a full AV canal, where the center of your heart's not formed, and you just have two heart chambers. And it was, you know, kind of a tough time, because you got to try and get this baby older before they have open heart surgery, and pray they don't go in congestive heart failure, and try to get them past at least 6 months of age, so the chance of survival is a lot greater. So it's kind of a tough time, and then to complicate matters, strange, unexpected things happened in our business, and we really kind of through this process went through the worst business time of our life also. But we had a base in faith, and you know, I was probably stubborn too, but you know, we just really had to turn to our faith and rely on it, and that's all we could do. Skylar was 10 months old when he had open heart surgery to fix his heart. I mean, a series of miracles in his life and in that surgery, where they could repair his heart with his own tissue, a heart the size of a golf ball, and never have to have anything else done to his heart in his life. I mean, as a parent, when people overlook the disabled, sometimes it breaks your heart. I mean, I've seen times where Skylar was ignored and sat alone by himself. But I try to understand people too, you know. Before we had Skylar, I mean, I didn't notice people with disabilities as much. I didn't notice people with Down syndrome very often. But after having Skylar, it was kind of like blinders coming off, where I could see them. And now I see people with Down syndrome and people with other disabilities all the time. In answering the question of how the church can best help people with disabilities, I'd have to say, first we have to celebrate life, and we have to celebrate humanity. You know, we're called to love people, and we're called to love them where they are. And I think people like Skylar have a unique ability to do that. And really all of us are disabled. I mean, kids like Skylar, because of modern prenatal genetic testing, are being aborted at alarming rates. Some countries, as much as 80 to 100% of the people that take the test and it confirms Down syndrome are aborting those kids. You know, I really think people like Skylar are actually more like God wants us to be than people like me. I mean, I'm more disabled in that regard.
I just want to say thank you for the people in Bethel Life Center, and for the youth group to come close to me and pray and care about me. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." I'm Skylar Harding Page, and this is my story.